Hello, one and all, and welcome to another installment of Ranting and Racing. This is episode number 2 for this racing season. I am your host, Jon Phipps. That is my co-host, Landon Rock. And that one right there is mine and Landon's friend, Pirate, down there in San Diego.
Sunny San Diego today.
Oh, you're not in San Diego today?
No, I am. It's just sunny and hot.
It's been...
That's always California.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, and speaking of California, we had just yesterday a groundbreaking race in Los Angeles, just up the shore from where Pirate is, at LA Coliseum. We had ourselves the Busch Clash, which is normally a staple of Daytona International Speedway and Speedweeks, but not this year. We're running it on a quarter-mile purpose-built track inside of LA Coliseum. And it did not disappoint. Now, I must admit, coming into this, I thought that this race would be a carbon copy of something that you would see at like Bowman Gray Stadium in Winston-Salem or someplace like that. I thought it was going to be a smash fest. But I was happily proven wrong, and we will touch on that a little bit later. But first, let's start at the top of everything with the practices and the qualifying sessions that went on and the heat races. Now, I did not get a chance to see those. I didn't get a chance to see those. I was busy with other show-related things here in TMN. But thankfully, that one right there bailed me out, I should say. And he took him some fine notes on the practices, qualifying, and the heat races, which wound up getting very spicy in the long run. So walk us through the heats a little bit, Landon.
It was kind of cool to see these. They were very short, 25-lap races to determine getting into the main event. It's like the All-Star and the All-Star Open. And true to form, a lot of times the open races are a little more exciting than the main event. Not to get too much in the main event right now, but the heats were pretty exciting, especially a certain number 2 LCQ, which had a lot of wrecks. But overall, it was very fun to see the brand new car and see how much the guys could really lean on each other and not wreck, or not wreck, but not destroy the car.
Oh, yeah, unless you're Eric Almirola, and we'll see about that.
Yeah, he had a nice wreck.
But that was not Almirola's fault.
Yeah, leave it to Almirola to almost flip on a quarter-mile racetrack. When he hit the wall, that right front just folded up under it and almost tipped him.
It dug under into the fender and lifted it up.
That got close.
It was really fun to see these guys scrap to try and get in there and really lean on each other. And that's the first kind of takeaway I can take from this new car. You can really lean on each other. And unlike last year in the Gen 6, you would have had cut tire, destroyed aero, knocked a fender off, something. These cars are a lot more durable, and it's awesome to see. Also, first feud of 2022, Corey LaJoie and Kevin Harvick in practice of all things. That was fun.
God.
See, we were all watching it, and it's just we see Corey LaJoie and Harvick going out. I'm like, why is this happening? We don't know why, but it's great.
Yes.
Because it was more LaJoie pissing off Harvick than it was anything else.
Yes, it was. So, also, it was very nice, I thought, to see some new blood up there running at the front and contend of Tyler Reddick.
Yes, Tyler Reddick. Justin Haley, though. I think Justin Haley might have improved more than Tyler Reddick did.
Yeah, Haley was right up there in the mix all through his heat and really all through the main clash. It was good to see him up there. It was good to see Tyler Reddick take a step up. And
Daniel Suarez.
What'd you say?
Daniel Suarez. Another
Yes,
one there.
Suarez was up there a lot. Even the Rick Ware cars were up there.
Yeah.
We gotta mention the Ware cars.
Ryan Preece technically getting a win in the 15. We now live in a realm where a Rick Ware racing car has won a race.
And that's not the only thing. Cody Ware almost got into the main himself as well.
Cody was up there the whole time. Cody was up there the whole time. Landon Castle was flying up through there
when he wasn't getting wrecked.
Yeah, though I have to say, I think the star of his respective heat, and especially the LCQ he was in, was Ty Dillon.
Oh,
because
God.
Ty Dillon hit everything but the snack bar in the heat races that he partook in.
His car was too fast for that track. It was too fast for that track that he was jumping the starts. Like, that's how fast that car was.
Yes, it was. I
do feel bad for Ty Dillon, though, that he jumped that foundation. He definitely did, but I feel bad that that happened.
Yep. He was determined to get into the field for the A main. He was determined to do it. And he's just
one thing I want to mention that I did write down that I have dearly missed in practice. You could see it, and if you recall old Martinsville races, when they got off that turn and smashed, that back end lifted up, and when they hit that brake, it slammed the ground. That splitter slammed the ground.
Yes, it did.
Detail, but I miss it, and it's so happy it's back.
You know, it kind of, you know what? That next gen car kind of reminds me of the Gen 4 in an odd sense. Like, I'm not the only person, right? I think it's because of that, like, the rear diffuser, it causes the car to go up a little bit, and then when you slam it, it goes, it's like a hybrid Gen 4 car.
Yeah. So, talk a little bit about, well, first, we'll get through the heats here, then we'll give our opinions on the on how we've seen the Gen 7 in action for the first time on a track this small, of all places. I think the Gen 7 passed with flying colors because, like Pirate alluded to earlier, you know, seeing that you could pop guys in the bumper and, you know, lean into them and it not do that much damage. I don't even think we saw any tire rubs off of this stuff.
None whatsoever.
Contact and all.
None.
There was no tire rub.
And here's the thing. Those cars held up beautifully. They took a pounding and kept trucking. And all in all, we only really saw 2 wrecked race cars in the whole thing. You know, we had Kurt Busch, because who was it sent it in 3 wide beneath Bubba? Oh, it was Cindric.
It was Cindric.
It was Cindric. Yeah, Cindric mailed it into turn 1, 3 wide, and Kurt just skated straight into the outside wall. And then in the A main, Justin Haley, who had been up there in the top 5 all day, not a brand new team, but a brand new full-time team.
It is a new car because that's the second car that Collie now has in Cup.
Yep. And Haley was right up there in the mix. He gets just bulldozed by Kyle Larson, slams the wall, ruins what was a great run. And Haley won the only one we saw have issues in that regard. We had I thought the man that was going to win the race going away, Tyler Reddick, he had the broken transaxle. Chase Briscoe, who had been up there in the mix, he had the same thing. But okay, so I'm realizing I'm getting off track here. I'm jumping ahead in order, so I've got to rein myself in. So I assume that you two both watched it on TV.
Yes.
Y'all watch on TV. I watched it on a stream. I watched it on the Arab language stream that doesn't have any commercials. No. It's all in English, but it doesn't have any commercials to it.
Well, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. No
commercials, no graphics. It's what a lot of the reaction guys use when they do their thing. So I watched it. Okay, so first of all, Gus Johnson doing the driver intros. I have loved Gus as an announcer in college basketball, college football, the NFL. I've loved him in everything he's done. And I can add another thing to that, in that he's great at driver introductions. He just hyped everything up, though I did get a good laugh out of when he introduced Tyler Reddick.
5'5", 160 pounds.
And Tyler's just like, he had to
mention
why? If they hold it at the LA Coliseum next year, Tyler's going to come out walking on stilts.
Honestly, I really wish that they put Gus Johnson in the booth for like the A.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been sick.
Fox doing that and NBC putting Mike Tirico in the booth. Come on now. That would be awesome.
I do want to go back to the heats in LCQ for a second. There was one driver that no one was talking about, but he undoubtedly was the biggest disappointment of the weekend. It was Brad Keselowski.
Yes.
I thought that he was going to be one of the main candidates to make the main. That car was slower than any of the Fords out there. It was slower than Buescher even.
Yeah,
so that's like a problem that they need to fix.
The Rick Ware cars were hanging 2 3/10 of a second on him. Now, I get, it's Roush. I get that it's Roush, they've not really been that good. But I thought Brad coming in would have gave this team a shot in the arm. Of course, it's still early in the season.
It is still early.
It's still very early in the season. We've not even had a points-paying race yet.
And the last person to be a driver and to become an owner, like, within a year was Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
And the first track that he did was Daytona, so you're obviously going to have a good finish if you keep the car clean. This is the Coliseum. So, and Brad struggled at it. So hopefully Daytona can be like a stepping stone on how Brad can be like a good fit for the 6.
I think Brad will come around for Daytona just because of Roush's track record there the last few years there and Talladega, and the fact that Brad, even though he always winds up causing the crash, the big one, he's always up there for Daytona and Talladega. So we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out with Keselowski. But I think he'll come around.
I think he'll come around too.
So as I said, I was watching a stream of the race that was commercial free. So it was like a raw satellite feed. It was like the raw satellite feed races of the 90s. And there were 2 nuggets that happened when they were in commercials that none of y'all saw, but I'm going to touch on it just for the comedic value. Number 1, Clint Boyer openly admitting in the booth that he had been drinking since noon that day, West Coast time, in the booth. Or not in the, but he didn't have a martini in the booth, but he was oiled up for the race. He was good to go.
I wonder if Blake Shelton gave him that.
Yeah. By the way, I have to say another thing on that. Why does Blake Shelton look like somebody's drunkle?
Because he is.
He is.
He looks like if they made like a live action remake of King of the Hill, Blake Shelton would be perfect in it.
A good shout.
God, I'm
gonna kick your ass.
He fits the part perfectly. He fits it perfectly. So there was Boyer overly admitting he had been drinking since noon that day at LA, and then Tony Stewart in the booth about to die. He was on open mic going, God damn, I'm about to die in here. I'm about to burn up. Of course, to be fair, this man probably almost died walking up the store. I don't know if surely there wasn't that many stairs leading up to it, the elevator, whatever it is, but still.
It is the Coliseum, but it did get recently renovated.
That and Stewart probably weighs as much as I do, which ain't good. So, oh boy, he went back on them soda cookies hard. So
another thing of comedic value that you didn't see because you didn't see a stream with commercials.
Oh boy.
Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano did an advanced auto parts / shell commercial.
Oh, wow.
Did you know you can save at the pump? It's literally already a meme, and it's funny.
I saved at the pump.
I love it. It's so good.
I literally watched that commercial, and I'm like, the guys I wasn't in the I wasn't in VC when it happened because I was watching it in the other room. I can literally imagine Laney going, "I saved at the pump."
I was laughing my ass off. That was funny.
There was
the one where Tony started Chase Briscoe, where Tony dumped all his trophies on Chase. And they were on the
that was a good one too.
Chase started looking through him, looking for the Indy Roval trophy that he got robbed out of last year. But that's another kettle of fish for another time. So my notes also say that so we've covered Gus Johnson, we've covered It's Hot in Here. And this is one of the biggest takeaways for me. I think seeing that big a crowd in a market like that for a race like this, I think NASCAR has struck gold.
Oh, they did more than just that. This was brilliant because when I was watching it, the atmosphere was like nothing I've seen in NASCAR in years. Just a party. And I know it's because Pitbull and Ice Cube were performing, which did great, by the way. I did not expect them to do so well.
Oh, and, God, they both
there was
awesome.
There was that whole USC Trojan section over there where all like the college kids were partying, and I'm like,
they were going hard.
They were going hard.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering what that was. I didn't.
It was the Trojan student section.
Wow, that is great. That is great. And
there was this like big muscular dude just doing this during like
yeah.
There was that gives me an idea for something that other places could do. Like, Talladega is like right next to where Alabama and Auburn are. You know, Charlotte, you've got Tobacco Road literally right there. Why not have that be like some kind of an incentive, to get a younger crowd in there?
I just had a bad idea.
Oh, what is it? Say it.
Obviously, okay. I was thinking like if the Clash were to be held in other like stadiums in the US or maybe even in Mexico or Canada. But like I had a thought when you said Alabama, like what if they had the Clash at the Crimson Tide Stadium?
Bryant Denny. Oh,
like,
gosh.
Oh no. Like
really,
Laney's face says it all.
No, listen to me. Really, the only college stadium that would really work at is the Big House up in Michigan, because that place has 100. You know what?
That's a good point. But the problem is because the Clash is in February, it's either going to be frost temperatures or just 8 inches of snow temperatures.
All-star race,
all-star race, yeah.
That brings another point that I want to hit on. Where do you think a race like this could be feasible at? Like, I had an idea that maybe they could do it at like Fenway in Boston, maybe Lambeau up there in Green Bay.
I don't know about Fenway because it would be a triangle shape because of how
that is true.
And obviously there's the big wall and like the triangle out there in the outfield. But like,
where would be good for a race like LA Coliseum? Soldier Field, Chicago. Because everybody knows it.
Yes.
Everybody
and they did race in Soldier Field like in the past.
Yeah, in the 40s and 50s. It was one of the most popular tracks in America. The one inside of Soldier Field. And here's the thing, with the Bears possibly moving out of there in a few years' time, who knows? That could become
that into like a Nashville Fairgrounds type track, maybe.
Yeah, they could turn that. NASCAR could buy that place up, and they'd be right back in the Chicago market, just like that.
I'll tell you what, though, and I will talk about like that stadium off topic for a second. The Chicago Bears are screwed when it comes to stadiums. They've been trying to like. Okay, I love Wrigley Field, and Wrigley Field is great. The White Sox stadium is okay too, but like no one even talks about it because it's the White Sox and they're often forgettable. But the whole deal is with Soldier Field. is that you're trying to make a stadium look futuristic on an old like building. You ended up making it look like a crab being opened up. Like there's all the crab meat, just like you're ripping open the crab with your bare hands, and that's what you have.
I've never heard that analogy used for a football.
Oh, I've got plenty of analogies to use. That's me.
So I take it that you're a Chicago fan.
No, no, I'm not.
Surprisingly.
Well, I'm actually a much more of a Chicago fan now that Matt Nagy's fired. Get him out of Chicago.
Yeah, Pirate has to find someone new to root for, considering the Chargers are gone.
Shut up! I've already picked the Rams. Picked the Rams, and they're in the Super Bowl. But I'm also rooting for the Bengals because I love Joe Burrow.
Yeah, so, I think. Why is this turning into a football podcast all of a sudden?
I don't know.
So I said we were
getting off topic.
Okay, so my last of the pre-race notes are about who accompanied Mike Joy in the booth. Clint Boyer still sucks. He wants to be Darrell Waltrip, and he's just not. He wants to be DW, but he's just not. By the way, happy 75th birthday to Darrell. He celebrated a few days ago. Happy birthday, Darrell Waltrip, 75 years old. Oh, me.
Okay.
See,
I know what you're going to say about Tony Stewart, though. Tony Stewart was brilliant.
He was.
In the booth.
He was brilliant in the booth. Awesome in the booth. It was like hearing Stewart doing his thing in the booth just makes me wish that he had gotten in the booth like 4 or 5 years earlier.
Yes.
Like he is so good in the booth. Like he doesn't sound forced. He had good insight. He could crack a joke when he had to. And I think he and Mike Joy really had good chemistry in the booth. And those two together, I think really, I won't say drowned out Clint Boyer, because you can't drown out Clint Boyer. But
especially when he had a couple of drinks.
Oh, God. How much you want to bet before this season's over that Clint Boyer shows up to a race fully nude?
God. Sight.
I'll say never. I hope never.
Yeah, I hope never too, but you just don't do with Clint.
In retrospect, though, Clint and Jeff did take a bunch of sedans around the Daytona road course, beating and banging like it's Days of Thunder, so I'm not surprised by anything Fox does. But that was fun.
Mike Joy and that fucking Fiero riding off into the sunset with Jeff Gordon doing like 210 past him in the Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I do not miss Jeff Gordon being in the booth at all.
You know what? I have to agree. I do like Jeff, but I don't think he was a perfect fit for the booth.
Yeah, he was just he and Darrell just did not get along.
They overlapped each other, like they were trying to top one another, and that was just not fitting.
Yeah, that and Darrell was just slipping into senility more and more.
Gosh. I do miss when Darrell Waltrip was going like, "Oh, for heaven's sake!" when a wreck happens. That was one of my favorite
every big one. He was like, see, DW in like the last 4 or 5 years he was in the booth. He was like your uncle who's on a new medication and he ain't got the dosage right.
Oh, that's just poor Darrell.
Yeah, but hey, Darrell said himself, he made more money in the booth than he ever did driving a race car.
True.
And going off topic just a little bit, I hope that when Dale Jr. restarts the Dale Jr. download for this year, I so hope he has more broadcasters on there. Like, I would love to hear. First, I would love to see him get Squire on the show, Ken Squire. I would love to see him get.
Oh yeah, I was thinking Ken Squire. I'm like, is he still around? Is he still willing?
Yeah, he's still his Timex is still ticking, and he's still on the radio up there in Vermont, and sounds better than ever.
Nice.
87 years old he's going to be this year, and his Timex is still ticking. God bless him. It makes me happy. Makes me happy. I would love to see Junior have Squire on there. I would like to see if I could talk, it would be a miracle. I would love to see Junior have some of those people that made those broadcasts, that were responsible for those broadcasts early in the 80s and 90s, like for CBS, ESPN, on down the way. So we'll cross our fingers, toes, and eyes that comes to be. So now we will move from the pre-race of the Clash to the main event, or rather the first half of the main event, the first 75 laps. My lead thing for the first 75 laps is this. Tyler Reddick looks strong as fuck, but still snake bit. Because he's had so many good runs the last couple of years, and just been snake bit time and time and time again. He had the car to beat, I think.
He did.
He was running away with it in the first half. The caution came out. He slows down. Boom, transaxle brakes. And this is a new piece of equipment for the Gen 7. So this makes me curious. Like, will we see drivers have similar issues at places where it's kind of slowish and has a lot of braking, places like Martinsville, Sonoma, places like that?
Yep.
You think we'll see more of that, or do you think the teams will get it more dialed in as they go through the season?
I think by the time they get to the short tracks, I think they would have it figured out, because they're going to be going to they're going to go to COTA first, I think, if I remember.
Yes.
And COTA would really be like the main test.
Mm-hmm.
So unless it rains again, and then it's just going to be another big ass cluster fire.
Oh, God. If it rains again, we're going to see cars all over the track like Matchbox cars.
Yeet!
Exactly.
Actually, hold up.
What?
With the new diffuser, wouldn't the mist issue be less present than last year? That was the issue with COTA last year. I don't know.
It's the wheel, it's the tires that makes up that spray.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know.
That and the tires are going to be a little bit wider this year. So if anything,
God, it's going to be a hurricane in COTA.
If we do have a rain race, oh my, we're going to see rooster tails 7 feet tall. They're going to look like hydroplane boats going down the backstretch of COTA.
Hey, we're racing at Lake Lloyd now.
Oh, gosh.
But didn't they repave that part of the track? Like where it's not that anymore?
They did, and didn't they move the guardrails back some?
Well, yeah, Cole Custer helped come up with that idea.
He did. So, we've touched on this already. The next gen handling beautifully, as we said earlier. The Gen 7 passes with flying colors, held up, handled well, and it kind of surprised me to see how quick those things stopped once one of them got turned around. Because we saw it in the last chance race with Burton and with Briscoe. Not Briscoe, but Cindric. How when they got turned around, those things just stopped like they hit a brick wall. So that was a bit encouraging to see. I mentioned how the first half of the race was very clean, despite from Joey Logano sending it in on Kyle Busch just before the end of the first half. Oh me. And then the next note.
Joey doing Joey things.
Speaking of Joey, the very next note I have for the first half is I suck at picking winners, because if you recall in last week's episode, I picked Ricky Stenhouse to win. That one there picked Joey Logano. He wound up winning. My pick lapped down for 3/4 of the race. Though Stenhouse did ultimately
Joe.
Though Stenhouse did wind up making up his 2 laps and got, I think, 12th, maybe 13th out of it. But, yeah, I thought Stenhouse is going to be a lot more aggressive than what he was. And then, as we touched on a little bit earlier, the transaxle problems, which took Reddick out of the event and also took another person who could have won it, Chase Briscoe, took him out of the event as well. And I think
at the same time too.
Yes. And didn't Denny Hamlin go out with the same problem like a lap earlier?
No, I think that was engine. I think that was engine related.
He was overheating.
He was overheating? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ryan Preece had brake issues.
Oh, I didn't know he. Oh, yeah, because I remember now Mike Joyce saying something about that. God, I was thinking Preece would get up there and do something, but he ran out of brakes, so he didn't have that. So, excuse me, my notes on the second 75 laps of this race were as follows. I said at first it was surprisingly clean, but then it did a complete 360 because the caution came out with 40 something laps to go, maybe late 30s laps to go. And then it got crazy. Tempers started flaring. We had, and I'm sure Lamy will have an opinion on this as a Blaney fan, but Blaney and Eric Jones getting together, and then Kyle Larson and Justin Haley getting together. So we will talk about the first of those 2 incidents. First, Blaney and Eric Jones. Talk about that one, if you will.
So they had been going at it for like 10 to 15 laps. According to Jones, Blaney brake checked him in the middle of the corner. I didn't see that, so I don't know. He might have. I'm not in the driver's seat, but he said he did, and he got tired of it and just sent him into the wall. And when he did, it broke a little piece of the suspension. They were able to get that repaired and get him back out there. But, yeah, he hit the wall with some pretty good force and broke the suspension. And then Blaney retaliated by throwing his Hans device at Jones.
Which broke on impact on top of that.
His Hans broke.
His Hans broke, which meant Blaney threw it hard.
No, Jones had to run over it.
We didn't see it because no one captured it on camera.
Yeah, thanks, Fox. But yeah, we had that transpire, and then the one that really broke me was Kyle Larson and Justin Haley getting together. Haley had been I don't think he had fallen out of the top 5 that whole race.
He stayed in the top 5 the entire race.
Yeah. He was flying in that race, kept his nose clean and everything, looked like had a chance to win. And I don't remember if he may have thumped Larson a little bit off of 4, but whatever it was, Larson just swung it to the left, bodied Haley. Haley caroms off the inside wall, breaks the whole left front wheel assembly.
The entire side of that car was broken.
Oh, God, and took him straight out of contention.
I will tell you what did the reason why Larson did that. Haley did hit Larson in the back, but it was because Byron had sent it in on Haley, and Byron hit Haley, and then Haley hit Larson. Larson didn't know that, so he just decided, well, I'm just going to turn into Justin Haley and wreck him.
Yeah, he just hit checked him for no reason.
I hate Kyle Larson for that.
Yeah, Larson.
That was rooting for Haley the entire race.
Yeah. Once it seemed like every driver I rooted for had issues. Stenhouse never showed up. Transaxle breaks on Reddick. Haley gets bodied by Larson and goes into the wall. Oh, but it's just one of those things. Like I say,
Jinx.
Yeah, I'm starting to second guess this picking thing that me and Landon's going to do over the course of the season, because I might be out a bunch of money sending him to a race of his choice, and then we get to the end of it. It comes down to Joey Logano, and Kyle Busch. Kyle had several good opportunities to get by him, but I noticed that he kept boiling the tires. He kept locking up his brakes, especially going into 3. And it seemed like every time he did that, he would just lose his momentum every time, which was a little bit sad because I so wanted last lap shenanigans between he and Busch. I wanted to see those two get together and spin. I wanted to see Austin Dillon shoot the gap. And
I did too. I think Austin, whatever Austin had when they were like getting into the later laps, that car was fast the moment the sun went down. That car was set up for nighttime.
Mm-hmm. Set up for better grip. So Logano continues his tradition of winning new non-points, new-ish events. He won at Dirt Bristol last year, and now he comes to the LA Coliseum, wins the Clash, and did the full lap drift, which was pretty sweet.
That was awesome.
That was
sick.
Yes, it was. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank the Busch Clash at LA Coliseum?
Okay, I'll do it separate from the heats and the LCQ to the main.
Okay.
The heat races in the LCQ, 9.5 out of 10. It was awesome. But it did. I won't give it a full 10 because that last LCQ was a mayhem and a nightmare to watch, and they just kept on wrecking. The main itself, it obviously wasn't perfect, but it was still fun to watch. So I'll give that an 8 out of 10.
Landon, what about you?
I think I'm gonna do 2 ratings. I think I'm gonna do one for the racing and one for the event, both overall. Racing, I think I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10. It was good racing. I don't think it was the best product we could put on, but I mean, it was good racing. I very much enjoyed it. The event overall is a 10 out of 10. I think it's everything NASCAR wanted. It's what the fans wanted. Everyone there had a good time. There's some good numbers popping up from TV, good numbers popping up from the stadium. So overall, it's a 10 out of 10. I think it is perfect.
Yeah, I've seen something. I think it was maybe Bob Pockrass or someone like that tweeted out that event got like a 2.7 in the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
It was the best. It was the highest rated TV event in the LA area, highest rated NASCAR race, I should say, in LA event in like 6 years.
Yep.
No, they've hit on something. Yep, they've hit something huge with this. Me, I would give
definitely.
I would give the racing about a 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10. It was good, and I am so happy that I got proven wrong because I thought it was going to be a smash fest. But aside from that last chance qualifier, it was a smooth event, which I'm happy for. And the next gen was beautiful on the track. The thing makes for great racing. You don't get tire rubs. You can beat and bang. It stops like it's run into a wall. I love this next gen car, though we still have yet to see it at Daytona. So we will touch on that a little bit. Overall, the atmosphere at that race, 10 out of 10. Going away.
Yeah.
It was like what you said earlier, Pirate. It was like the scenes that you would see from like the mid 90s into the mid 2000s. It was just, my God, it was just so amazing.
Sandy had asked, JP, what's your favorite pre-racing song?
Pre-race song? That is a good question. That is a very good question that I don't think I know the answer to, really. Though I will take her question and kind of put my spin on it. So let's say you're a driver about to run the Bristol night race. What song are you coming out to? And we got a cat cameo.
Oh, God.
We got a cat cameo.
At mine, it is the.
Oh, that's Kinky Cam.
It is a very recent song, so it helps even more. It's very new. Pirate knows this one. It would be Zombified by Falling in Reverse.
I knew he was going to say that.
Interesting.
On repeat.
See, I have a bunch of songs in a playlist of like entrance, like any kind of entrancing, because I'm really obsessed with that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with one that I've had for like the longest time. It would be Fuel by Metallica. No questions asked.
Give me Fuel, give me Five.
That's exactly. That's girl on NBC helped out with that.
Yes. God, if I had $100 for every time I've heard that song when I was a kid, I would be filthy rich.
But see, though, that would be an answer if I was still younger. But nowadays, I think it would be. Oh God. Drones by Rise Against. Do you know that one?
I don't think I do.
It's a really underrated song. It's worth a listen to.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, so now that question comes to me. If I had to pick a song to walk out to for Bristol Night, oh boy. I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think of a good one. Byron said he's taking so long. I'm getting out of here. So, if I had to pick one, I would probably say "Won't Get Fooled Again" by The Who.
Oh, I need to listen to that one.
Oh, it's a great one.
I know who The Who is, but I need to listen to that song.
Yeah. It's a wonderful song. So now we will turn our attention from the Busch Clash. We've got an off week this week, but then in 2 weeks' time, the start of Speedweeks and the lead up to the Daytona 500. So we've seen the Gen 7 in testing at Daytona. How do y'all think then it'll handle in the overall race? How do you think it'll go?
I think we're going to get a lot of like 2x2. I don't think the cars are ready to go 3x3 because we need to know how those cars handle when they're stuck in the middle. Are they going to be loose? Are they going to be tight? Like whatever the hell. But also, are they going to snake like they did before? Because I'm not against snaking at all. But the thing is like. The whole deal is that if the cars snake, can they get a big run that they can use like the last package did?
Yeah.
So I hope I think it's going to be all right, but I'm just worried about like when they go 3 wide or with snaking.
My worry is, will these cars stay on the ground?
Oh God, don't even get me started. We're going to have a blowover in the 500. We're going to have a blowover.
I think they'll stay on the ground. They have a very, very interesting mechanic in the diffuser that's connected to the roof flaps. When the roof flaps come up, the diffuser drops, and it's meant to just flow the air through it, kind of like the IndyCar has with their diffuser.
Here's the thing.
I think it'll work. I don't think it's going to be perfect.
Here's the thing, though. If someone gets hit from behind and that thing breaks, it's going to be useless.
True.
I don't think it's going to break.
I don't think
it's very hard to break. It's not like flush with the bumper. It's offset.
Oh.
But also the car could weight shift still. That's still always like an issue that can happen.
I'm just hoping and praying that we don't have a horror wreck in the 500 this year. Because with Newman 2 years ago, with Ryan Newman 2 years ago and Brad Keselowski last year, I'm just like, can we please have a 500 that doesn't end in a horrific wreck? Just please.
Yeah.
No,
that'd be nice.
I don't think so. I hope that there's not going to be a bad wreck, but I think there will be. The worst thing that could happen is if, like, yes, a car flips, but the minute it touches wet grass, like the car just comes apart and explodes. And because it's a composite body, they're going to come off easy, and it's just going to be the roll cage left.
Oh yeah, that'll be like those fucking V8 supercar flips in Australia. Like when they spin out down the chase at Bathurst and they dig into the sand and they just start shedding parts and wheels and everything like that. Oh boy. No. Okay, so we've got our concerns about the car out there. So who do you think? I'm not going to say who picks I'm not going to ask who you think will win the 500. We'll save that for next week or in 2 weeks episodes. But who do you think will step up? Who do you think will be the top runners at Daytona, and who do you think might surprise some people at Daytona?
The Rick Ware cars.
Now, is Priest confirmed? Is Priest confirmed to run the 15?
No, it's going to be David Reagan.
Oh, Reagan in the 15?
Yes. They didn't do a third car this year for front row, so David's going to be in the Rick Ware car.
That could be interesting.
But in a serious answer, aside from Rick Ware, Spire, I think, is going to be insane at Daytona.
Yes.
Because if Corey LaJoie was able to do what he did in the July race with the old car, I cannot wait to see what he'll do in the next gen car.
LaJoie was second with a half a lap to go.
And then Kevin Harvick happened. Coincidentally, Kevin Harvick happened.
Harvick and Suarez. I still don't know how Bubba Wallace got through that crash. He was right in the heart of that thing, and he came out
Bubba
third
Wallace
without a
is
scratch.
undoubtedly the best wreck avoider I think we've seen in years.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's the best.
He's a good wreck avoider, but here's the thing about Daytona and Talladega. He usually winds up being the wreck. Because we've seen how his luck has been.
He has been involved in a lot of big ones.
Yeah.
So, and I think I can count at least 3 that he's been in as of late in the Cup Series.
So who do you think will be the top cats at Daytona this year?
Colleague.
Yes, a colleague, I think. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to say colleague.
Strategy that they use in Xfinity Series and bring it to Cup, and then you add that onto the already very much Chevy attitude of work with Chevys. They're going to be the front, I think.
And you know what? I can add on to that. If Noah Gragson makes the 500 this year, I'm pretty sure Gragson will be working with the colleague cars because that's good. Yeah, I know you're going to be mad about that, but it's true. If Gragson makes the 500, he's going to be working with the colleague guys because he's going to be a colleague driver later in the year.
Yeah, I can see that too.
And Landon Castle, because we know he's going to be in the 500 this year, I would assume. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is.
He is in the 77.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Landon, who do you think is going to be the top contenders at Daytona, other than colleague?
I think the Fords are going to show up. I think Blaney is going to have another good run in the 500. I honestly, I could see Joey going back to back. I could see it. He's up there. But he's always in a wreck, so you never know.
I actually want to know.
Joey going back to back.
Okay, I do want to say.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I think I could see it happening.
No, I thought you were saying back to back in the 500. I'm like, did you forget McDowell won the 500 last year?
He was leading at the white flag. He won the white flag.
Yeah, but the white flag don't pay.
Not the race, because Brad decided to do a late move and turn him.
Brad went, wee!
Oh, wait, no, Joey. No, wait, you know what? Yeah, Joey blocked Brad, and that's what caused that whole thing.
Yeah, and then we got Michael McDowell, of all people, winning the 500. There it is. There it is.
Okay, straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get your opinion on this because it's not even okay. I'm gonna ignore what's going on my TV. Is Harrison Burton in Cup too early?
Yes.
Yes.
He did great in the Clash, but I feel like Harrison Burton's in Cup too early. And I'm worried about him.
You know who I think should have gotten that car? The 21? Ross. Ross should have got the 21, I think.
I like him at Trackhouse.
I mean, yeah.
I do like Chastain at Trackhouse, but that's a good point. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But the thing is, like, I'm not going to say Ross, but I think a good candidate to take over the 21, I would have said Austin Cindric, but he is in the 2, and he was supposed to be in the 21 last year. But the whole deal is, oh God, I don't want to say it because you're gonna get you're gonna get pissed at me. I would have said Riley Hurst because of his money. Because of his money.
No. We don't do meme hires in here, Pirates.
No, I'm serious.
Don't do meme hires.
No, I'm serious because Riley Hurst is constantly just going up and up because when he does nothing but wreck, he's going to be in Cup because of money. Wood Brothers are going to be like, oh yeah, mine. So
I wish
but I also could have picked. Oh wait a minute, I don't.
Oh God.
Never mind. I was gonna say Sheldon. I was gonna say Sheldon Creed, but I realized that he's gonna be in Xfinity.
Yeah. So, he is. Yeah. He will be in Xfinity. So what else could we talk about here? I know we're slipping up towards the end of this.
Riley Hurst is gonna win a race.
Probably.
Is just some stuff that I think we can take away from the Clash. It's very early, one race into the season, not even a real points-paying race, but some things I think that we can take away is the fact that this car has brought the field closer. Obviously, as the season goes on, the big teams will figure something out or something, and the gap will eventually open back up. But maybe some of the lower teams could figure something out too, and maybe it doesn't go as big. But teams like Rick Ware, I think, are going to have an awesome year compared to what they were doing. And then I think like Corey and Spire are going to have a good team. Corey really struggled in the Clash. His car wasn't driving right. But I legit think Corey can win a race this year. This car and his driving style being the field closer, I think he can win a race.
For what it's worth, I did have a dream not long ago about LaJoie winning the 500. So, oh my God, that would break the internet. That would actually break the internet, and it would break Landon's liver. I know it would, because
no, not just his liver, his appendix, his lungs, his heart. It's all going to die.
His wallet. There you go. There's Corey.
Shoe we trust.
Hashtag stacking pennies. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting time. I kind of wish. Wait a minute, the Super Bowl is this week, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Well, that makes sense for the off week then. But okay. I know how we could close this thing out, even though it's not going to be on a racing related note. Super Bowl picks. Rams, Bengals.
I love both teams. I love both teams. I picked the Rams to root for when the Chargers left. And then I love Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon and Jamar Chase and CJ Uzomah and all the other players on the Bengals. Oh, God. I'll pick Rams because Joe Burrow is still young and he's going to win a Super Bowl in his future. I will bet on it. So I'll pick Rams. And I want to see Matthew Stafford get a ring finally.
Landon, what about you?
I'm going Bengals. I think Joe Burrow's unstoppable. It's Joe Burrow.
I know it's Joe Burrow. I can't fall too far.
He's on another level right now.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I'm kind of torn because on one hand, I want to see Matthew Stafford get a ring, and I want to see one of the best Bulldogs of all time get his due. Matthew Stafford did go to Georgia. He lit Athens up when he was there. But at the same time, I've loved Joe Burrow. He's my favorite non-Georgia college football player of all time. And to see him get healthy and be doing good in the NFL now really, really makes me happy. Really makes me happy. So, oh God, I'm so torn. I want to see.
It's such a hard Super Bowl to pick.
I want to see
because if the Patriots and the Chiefs were in it, it would be an easy pick to pick not them.
Like I say, that's the thing. I want Stafford to do it because I'm a huge Georgia fan. But at the same time, I want to see Burrow get a ring young because I think he'll win multiple Super Bowls when he really gets cranking. God, that and the Bengals have struggled for so long. The Bengals have struggled for so long, and now they're finally good. Oh man, there's no way I can. Oh my God. See, this is why I wish ties were still their ties are still possible in football, but you wouldn't.
Not in the Super Bowl.
I was gonna say it'd be a cold day in hell before the Super Bowl ended in a tie. Oh gosh, this is tough. Give me. I think I'm gonna have to go with what Pirates said. Burrow's gonna win a lot in his time. Let the Rams have this one, just so Georgia can have another Super Bowl champion player come out of it.
And it's not just Stafford, too. It's also like Andrew Whitworth has been playing for like 20 years, and he could finally get a Super Bowl. Eric Weddle, who came out of retirement, and he's the pride of San Diego, he could win a ring. And Odell Beckham could win a ring. And and Aaron Donald can win a ring, and Von Miller can win another ring.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Whoever wins this Super Bowl, I'm not going to be mad about it.
Exactly. I have to agree on that.
Because, hell, even if Stafford doesn't haul off and win it, Burrow will finally get his after all the hell he's been through, after all the hell that Cincinnati has been through. It's just going to be a great story either way. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, one and all, for coming out and showing love as we finally get into motion with Ranting and Racing. And thanks to Landon for coming aboard, co-hosting this deal. And thanks again to Pirate for jumping on here, being our guest for this week. And thank you again to all of you who will listen and watch this over the coming week. And we will be back next Monday with another installment of this. And next week's show will be completely dedicated to our Daytona predictions, considering that will be Speedweeks coming down the pike, and we'll make our predictions. And you might even hear some Super Bowl talk and see who, if any of us, whiffed on our predictions.
If I'm here next week, it's going to be a party. You just wait.
So far, let's make it
he's gonna have a bottle of Ciroc in one hand and a cigar in the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, see y'all next week. Thanks for watching and listening. Have a great rest of your night, one and all. Take care. Much love. And may God richly bless you all.